That's why we doing it high, late night live, doing our thing. What is up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's like 1:40 in the morning. We doing our thing out here on the left coast. So, who am I? That's right. NERDSoul. NERDSoul. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. And we are here to talk Greenleaf season 4 finale. Whoo, boy, there's a lot to get into. But before we get started, thank you for rolling through. Thank you, and big shout out to everybody in the chat that's coming through, that's loading in. I got a couple people tweeting, so hopefully they'll be joining us. It's a late night, but we're going to have some good time. And it'll be daytime for my folks like Eon01, you know what I'm saying, over across the pond. So before we get started, big shout out to Dave Farrar behind me, Geek Fine Art, and check his stuff out on Instagram. Big shout out to Enrique Carrion and his dope comic book Phenomic. You can check it out, PHENOMIK. Thought Crimes, big shout out to them, and Tim I for helping support the Brizan. So, what do you think about the finale? Did Charity get what she deserved? Did Karissa get what she deserved? Did Mae get what she deserved? Did anyone come out as a particular winner for you? And the reason I ask that is because I think this finale works well in a way where no one really wins, except Bob. Bob kind of gets what he wants at the end, but no one else really wins on this one, which is interesting. So I want to get started. I'll start off light because you know, I hate Karissa. It ain't nothing brand new to you. You've been watching the shows. You know what's up. So we ain't gonna touch her yet. We're gonna start off easy with my girl Sofia. I like Sofia. You know, I love Sofia. She is the only good person on the show. She ain't did nothing to nobody. She's been great. I'm worried that being with the basketball player will be a kind of like a bad influence on her. But after seeing this episode, maybe, just maybe, she's a positive influence on him. Like we see him opening the car door, you see them getting intimate, but then he's like, look, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind waiting. But then later on, you see her come home alone. She's looking kind of sad. So maybe the joint broke off. We don't know. Maybe she ain't even getting what she wants. Or maybe they were intimate and it wasn't what she thought it would be, or maybe he was a different way after. We'll figure that out next year. We'll probably do some kind of time jump. Or what would be dope is if we came back on the day of demolition. But we'll see how that rolls because we're not exactly sure where they're gonna put us at just yet. So I'm gonna hold on to faith that we'll get to see at least the day of demolition when we come back. But big shout out to old girl Sofia for still holding it down, still staying strong, being that light in this series. AJ comes back and she's still that positive light where she's experienced enough where she can be extremely jaded, and she still finds a way to be positive around people, be straight up good to people, and with everyone else around her kind of breaking down and being crazy and acting foolish. It's like her and Bishop this year. Bishop ain't really do nothing. I mean, Bishop did do a little. Well, I guess I'll take that back. He did blackmail Connie, but it was a justifiable blackmail. Yeah, so we'll leave that. It was justifiable. We'll get down with that. So big shout out to uh, Alan Lewis earlier, who was talking about, at least I believe he was referring to the show. He was talking about, finales are going on tonight. They're going to be amazing. So big shout out to Alan Lewis. What I want to get into now is Zora, because we did see her for a second in this. And we saw a softer Zora, and it might just be in this moment because, grandma is feeling away and, she wants to kind of be there for her grandma, feel good and help her grandma feel good by being, hugged up with her and giving that emotional support. So we don't really know for sure, but I venture to guess that maybe Zora has become slightly better after seeing what um, old girl that got kicked out of the party, after kind of seeing how that went, and maybe her realizing that she's got to change a couple things, reorganize a couple things in her life. Now the kids are out the way. It's time to talk about the adults. I'll I'll start in with Lady Mae. Lady Mae has spent this whole season leading the charge on basically being outright against harmony and hope. Outright. And she's been everything we can do to get the church back. Stop the votes, do this, get them out of there, find out Connie stuff, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of things, talking to people behind people's backs and, talking to the young lady that was going to change the scholarship fund or whatever, all kinds of things. But then when faced with the opportunity by Bob Whitmore to kind of be I guess, the face of harmony and hope at that church, you see she turned real quick. Remember, she was just talking about leaving room for God like 2 episodes ago. Now, all of a sudden, here we come talking about, well, I've already said yes. And it hurt Bishop a lot. You could see it hurt him in a way where I think it's going to be tough for May to come back, because he even said your cockeyed ambition is going to allow you to be arm candy for this white man who wants to parade you around, essentially to be your shield when trying to merge this church and make it a white church. Um, and he's got a point. Bob Whitmore is in no way interested in Lady Mae whatsoever as a person, or any even on any social level. It's only the control he can have over her, and using her to get the acceptance of the people. Of course, I mean, come on, man. She still has a Greenleaf name, so he needs somebody with a Greenleaf name that's credible to the rest of Calvary. Um, but I'm glad, just like many people in this episode, she did not get what she wanted in the end. In the end, what did she get? Nothing. Because Bob Whitmore was like, he talked to your boy Phil. He was like, yo, what you want? Phil was like, I'll do anything. Name it. Phil said, you want to sit up in this pulpit, baby? Guess what you got to do? Let me tell you that, bruh. Got to get rid of Charity, who he wasn't even with. He ain't even like her anyway. I know that the writers were trying to make us think that he had changed his ways, and maybe he was into Charity and stuff. He won't feel in Charity no way. So don't look. You're okay. He is not interested in Charity at all. to to make him marry Judy because he knew that Judy still wanted him and all that stuff was great when it comes to the way he played Phil all season, and he's been playing him further. I mean, he's done things like wave him off and stuff like he was just a child. But now taking this from him, this thing with Charity, which I don't think it was real anyway. You know what I'm saying? When you have to constantly ask someone, "Are you using me?" You're probably getting used. And I mean, when they first got together, when they first spoke, he let her know straight up, "I want you to spy on me." Like, come on, man. Look, what you think? What you think? Now, with that said, real quick, I'm gonna put a pause on that. I want to give a big shout out to some people that are out there killing it right now. KURO Brand, that's right, KUROBRAND, who holds down the channel, helps us pay some bills. Go get some shirts, all that jazz, super dope. Also, big shout out to 133 Art, out there dropping dope books like Kid Carver's, One Nation, Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, a whole bunch of awesome just flyness for you. And then also a big shout out to Quinn McGowan doing his thing with like man, Legends Press is don't sleep. Don't sleep on this stuff, man. You killing it. And then also another big shout out to my man Arcatron, who is a co-host with me on Beats Vibes Life. Big shout out to him for, just one, doing the show with me. Two, he has an album coming out that I've heard a good amount of, and I'm super excited about it. And three, just being a general all around cool cat that happens to produce dope stuff too. So ARCKATRON. Anyway, back on Charity. Charity has so man. Here's my issue with Charity. Charity is so immature and childish that she deserved this. And I personally was happy when he said they can't get married. I could feel it wash over me with the satisfaction that to she would not be able to marry the man she wanted to marry. And I love that idea. I love it. I'm glad. I'm glad. And I know you're gonna be like, oh NERDSoul, you wrong. You wrong. How you gonna say that? How you gonna say that to somebody? Well, you know what? You know how I can say that? Easy. Because she can't marry Phil. Phil can't marry her, and she gonna be sitting there crying. Come here. See, this is something you see this baby right here, all right? This little baby that should not be up, NERDSoul light, should not be awake. All right. I don't know how he broke out, but apparently the warden is granting a stay of execution. But also, you see, this is what you don't see in Charity's life, because Charity is running around chasing folks instead of raising her kids. All right, the Marty Shaw is over there raising her kids. All right, that's all I'm saying. But she didn't get what she wanted. May didn't get what she wanted. And technically, Bishop didn't get what he wanted because Bishop thought he got his woman back, but now finding she's still blinded by ambition and self righteousness, that he's never going to have the woman that he thought he was getting remarried to back. He ain't getting that. It's not going to happen. It's over. So that's just a situation that it, it's just beautiful for a season finale to kind of see some of this stuff come back on them. Um, and coming back on them is Karissa. I hate Karissa. And you know I hate Karissa. I know I hate Karissa. You hate Karissa too. Well, if you don't hate Karissa, you I don't know what to say. Look, evidence is being laid before you. But the way Karissa has been positioned and placed inside this show with Jacob was that of someone who would never let go of the past and wanted to continue to punish him for the things that he had done, for the things that he had like kind of been over. Like the last time in when we meet Jacob in season one, he is a broken man, a horrible man. He's running around on her. But in season two, we see Jacob change and become a different person, a much different person. And realizing that he has turned and been so different is it's hard to see him trying to be trying to be different, trying to be better, trying to be stronger for his wife and his family, and her continue at every turn to either belittle him or to nag him or to kind of rub his face in his past indiscretions and not let him move on or grow from that, and not recognizing that he has definitely become a much better man than he used to be. So she cheats and she brings something home with her. She catches a little something. And when she tells Jacob, his response is finally the response that I've been wanting to get from him for a while. Because at first she had a point. Like, season one, he was acting up. But all throughout season three, and even this season two, well, part of season two, because he was kind of turning around, and all of season three and all of season four now, she has been on his back all the time, and not allowing him to move on, making sure that he stays in that moment and that she keeps burning him for it. But then now she wants mercy. And I'm like, this is interesting because when it was me meaning Jacob, when it was Jacob doing the cheating, you couldn't forget it. You couldn't let it go. Even when you have proof that I have been a different man, that I am a different man now, you still make sure to remind me on many occasions that I've cheated, that I've transgressed, that I've done all this stuff, all this bad stuff. But now it's your turn. And all of a sudden, it's sympathy time. It's mercy time. I'm like, nah, no sir. So I'm glad that he shot off and fired off for her like he should have, because that's right. You know what I'm saying? That's right. There ain't gonna be. Look, you gotta give to get, and you ain't never give no sympathy. You ain't never give no mercy. And now all of a sudden he go laying at the court. Please, 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 please. No, we done. And like he said, I ain't never bring nothing home. And he was like, because remember when he asked her where she was, she rode his butt hard. That what about all the nights and this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, I knew it. But I let it go. You want to know why? Because I figured maybe she'd be smart enough to be like, you know what? Let me ease up. But now you done caught something. And the funny thing is, even though he's done with her, they've contrived this whole thing of like the will and to kind of like bring her back in. But this whole thing with the will, and regardless of the will, that doesn't prove that anyone killed anyone. It's not the will alone isn't enough. It seems kind of weak. It seems like she as a character, or Ferdinand, or whatever his name, Fernando, or the writers are kind of like grasping at straws to kind of like keep her involved. And it's like, nah, even if we find out that like what's his name? That Mac killed the lady. They ain't got nothing to do with Bishop. They ain't got nothing to do with her. And depending on how long ago it was, there's not enough evidence for you to do anything. I mean, maybe start a rumor, but not enough for no investigation, and showing up not enough for no trial. So this is a waste of your time. That was a waste of your writing time. You could have been writing something better. But anyway, slide that to the side because we got AJ and his uncle in this episode, technically, because you know, Mae was a Rolling Stone, sort of, kind of. Anyway, but you got AJ coming back. He's like, I'm turning myself in. You want to make it right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want to make it right, and he wants to turn himself in. And I'm not mad at that. I think if Mae, I don't know. I think he'll end up coming out all right, depending how it's played to the cops. But the whole thing with Marduk's lying, and we don't know how to play. Then also the family, it depends. This family has been in some problems before. They might be looking for a reason to just be like, we're gonna take one of y'all down. So AJ, we'll see how it happens. Like I said, I hope that this season comes back on Demolition Day. So technically, it's only a few days time jump, and not something where it's like a year later, and it's like, hold up, but what happened with the church? Remember the whole thing? Like, you just go and skip all that. So hopefully, we only skip forward like 5 days or whatever to the Demolition Day, and we pick up there. Because I do want to see where AJ goes and what happens. I'm not super digging him as a character, but since he's in Grace's life, and part of the reason that she went through this whole thing with her, self-righteous, but not as self-righteous as Marduk. I mean, don't fall too far from the tree. But it is nice to see that, she's feeling remorseful, and probably looking back and saying, I could probably have kept him from this life if I would have responded to him back when he reached out when she was, I think, in Phoenix or whatever. And speaking of Phoenix, where is her ex-husband? Remember when he said, I'm leaving and I'm coming to Oklahoma or wherever they at? now. Remember he said that back in like episode 6. Is he dead? Is he walking from there? Look, we ain't got time for that. All right, we ain't got time. All right, we got things to move on to. Like Grace herself, I do like the end of the episode where we see her. Well, in the beginning and end. In the beginning, we see her walk from the pulpit. I thought that was kind of weird because as someone who grew up in the church, that just doesn't happen. Like if anyone were to like be like, oh well, I quit preaching and I'm out. Like somebody would get up and like finish the service or do something or help, gather emotions or something. Like they wouldn't just because it looked like they just dismissed. It looked. I guess they were like, all things come of thee, and then they were like peace. You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't know. Like she came outside, saw AJ, and it was like maybe a minute, and then everybody else left. So I guess it was like, psh, well, we know Bob Whitmore likes a short service, so he was probably like, this works for me. So they just left, which was strange. I feel like church don't do it like that. But I didn't grow up in a mega church, so maybe mega churches people quit, and then people just be like, man, I'm going home. Give me a chicken sandwich or something. I don't know. Anyway, but the end is something that I like, where she started praying about what was going on. And what I enjoyed about it is that she didn't immediately ask for anything. She started thanking God for the things that she had. In many cases, and I mean, this is something normal for us, us to do, is to be like, God, help me. Get me out of this. Help me stop this. Fix that. Do this. Change that. But instead, she was like, thank you for my sister. Crazy and immature, what though she may be, thank you. Thank you for my brother. Thank you for my mom. We are here as a family. And maybe this shared trauma will drive them together. Maybe it'll get Charity's mind right. It looks like it has helped to center Grace at the end of this episode, which is a good thing, I guess. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, Charity, Jacob, all of that. We'll see how those two come into play because Jacob's dealing with his thing with Karissa, and Charity, she's reeling from the loss that I so relished in. But I do like that she prayed and she just thanked God for what she had instead of just being like, oh God, fix it real quick because I don't want to pay for any indiscretions or any of my people to pay for their, like she just started thanking him for the things that you do have and the things that you have gotten to experience. I mean, like, all right, yes, harmony and hope is here, but I am standing on my family's villa of a property. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be like, oh man, life is oh so hard as I sit in my mansion. It's like, so yes, there are some crazy people in your family, but your family is together. People are in good health. Nobody's dying or anything. So there are things to be thankful for. Now the ending is something that I thought was intriguing. The way for me, and holler at me down in the comments. Let me know how it hit you. The way it hit me was almost placing like I guess an angel in her path or some kind of happenstance, positive message from or positive visitor from a supernatural kind of force. She's doing all this praying, and then all of a sudden this kid, or well, I guess a man, comes up, looks like her son from afar. But then when I saw him, I'm like, that's your son. That's your son's stunt double. But anyway, he comes up in as bad acting form as he could possibly do. But he was like, everything has an expiration. And like, it's time for y'all to move on from Calvary. And that's okay. Calvary's over. It's done. Y'all have done it. It's something that you have done. You have a legacy there. You have built it. It's time to move on to something else. It's time for you to experience something else. Have another adventure. Create something else. you know, inspire something else. Um, but the only problem I have with it is the way it was framed is almost like kind of like that statement where it says sometimes we entertain angels unaware. And I don't mind that, except for the fact that the show has never been supernatural. And now it seems like the show is trying to go supernatural, ambiguously, but still supernatural. And I'm like, this show has never been like this. Um, and Lady Lisa, my lady on the show, she brought up what may have been better is to see the or hear the voice of faith for each one of them with a different message. And like hearing, I mean, that would still be supernatural, but it would make more sense than some random person be like, oh, well, I just walked up on the grounds. You walked up on the grounds from the grounds that got security, so you just walked up here. So now people are just walking on your land. Never happened ever before, but now people just walking up on the land. You can't forget that you've shown us in seasons 1 and 2 that there is security that watch the perimeter and stuff and protect, make sure that your grounds are protected or something. You can't show us that and then go to season 4 and be like, oh well, I was just walking around and just came through. And then for Grace to be like, oh, just go that way and the road's over there. All right, well, peace out. Just, you know what? Look, this is to every show. This isn't just Greenleaf. This is to every show. Every show. When you get around season 3, 4, to the level where you're starting to forget stuff you said, put out a poll, put out feelers, hire yourself someone who is a fan, a super fan of the show, meaning they've seen every episode. And they won't be there. They won't be there to like, be kicking it with the actors and then like their job will be to just sit in the writer's room. So when they bring up stuff, they can be like, well, you gotta be careful because in season 2 you did this. Because it seems like either the writers forgot or just said, well, they won't care. Because it's like, guys, you've never had any supernatural aspect whatsoever in your show. You can't just introduce it now without a hint of anything just popping up. It was kind of like on Power having Paz show back up out of nowhere. Now, I mean, yeah, she was like in episode 1 and 2 or something, but we ain't seen old girl for a minute. Now all of a sudden she back in the club. Who let her in? Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Who let her in? But with that said, guys, holler at me. I'm going to holler at you. Down in the comments, let's talk about Greenleaf. I still enjoying the show. I love the way it ended because I like an ending where no one really wins. It's a little column A, a little column B. Bob won. Bob got what he wanted, or will he? You don't know. But for the most part, it seems like Bob sort of got what he wanted. But everybody else is kind of floundering and trying to figure themselves out at the end of the season. So it's kind of cool. So, of course, holler at me down below in the comments. And before I get out of here, check out NERDSoul everywhere. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's right. TikTok, Spotify, iHeartRadio podcast. Holla at Showboy. And don't forget NERDSoul Light. Be like, hey guys, what's up? It's me, NERDSoul Light. I didn't watch the finale, but I'm still kicking it and holding down for my dad. And big shout out to Lady Lisa, who is over here. You just don't see her, so don't worry about all that. And a big shout out to, of course, Dave Farrar, the artist-sponsored wall. Super awesome work. Check him out on Instagram, Geek Fine Art. And a big shout out to Belize Film Festival because this week I will be covering stuff. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about a short doc and then some movies throughout the rest of the weekend. But from us to you, we're saying thank you for hanging with us and chilling. And until next time, peace. Yeah. Haha. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Peace. Yeah, y'all. Woo. Haha. Yeah, y'all. Haha. Peace, y'all.